so much for being here. This has been 75 plus years in the making. The actual banquet itself, believe it or not, a little over 3 years, as planning for this actually started in April of 2020, when COVID was happening. We had nothing else going on. So we very simply started trying to stalk and find as many of you as possible. That may have included things like Facebook messages, text messages, postcards being sent to addresses that we had from 1995 in an attempt to find Troop 161 alumni. Because as crazy as it seems in the year 2023 and how instant we can communicate, somehow during the dark ages of the 1990s, people communicated without email. They only needed 7 phone numbers, 7 digits, not even an area code. What a time to be alive. But we are here to celebrate 75, technically 77, years as a troop. Thank you for being here. Some of you came from multiple states away, including a family from North Carolina, just for the weekend, just for this. Including a family from Florida, who I'm very excited to introduce in a little bit. I'm going to keep that name quiet for right now. But we have a family coming from Florida, just for this event. So that is incredibly powerful. Now, 75 years, I view it in eras. So if you were to think of when you were a scout, you had guys that were 3 years older than you, and eventually 3 years younger than you. And that's your era, right? When you're 11, you're looking up to the 14 and 15-year-olds. When you are 15, all of a sudden those annoying 11-year-olds somehow become part of your era. I said annoying, I just want to make sure we're clear. And what we have in this room are eras going back to the late 1940s. In fact, one that came in that wasn't supposed to be here from the mid-1940s. So he is in the room. I will introduce him in a little bit as well. But 75 years in the making is incredible. To think about a scout troop out of a church in Reading, Pennsylvania. And you are all here because you played some part in that. Whether you were a scout in the troop for a year, or 7, or you're someone like me that you turned 18 and just never went away. That wasn't a joke, but thanks. So I want to take a moment to just go through a little bit of our history. And while we have the pamphlets now that have a brief history on the inside, we're just going to revisit the past momentarily. So with our scouting history, and I promise I won't be shouting the whole time, we're going to move the microphone in a little bit. Just a little bit of history about Scouts. It was founded by Lord Robert Baden-Powell in England in 1908. Impressive. James West founded the VSA in the United States in 1910. The troop originated in 1936. Now you're quickly doing math, or at least whipping out your phones to do math. That is older than 75 years. That is because we did have our interruption during World War II, where there were not adult leaders in order to maintain the troop. It was restarted in 1946, or at least that's what we were told. If we go back in time, we go back to Egypt. The history books don't always get it right. They always say Ramesses II was the pharaoh. However, they left out the married name, Ramesses Lerch II. Those statues prove the existence. It's on the internet, so it must be true. So we can advance forward a little bit. And if your face is carved in stone, it must be true. Millions of people go to Mount Lurchmore every year. Well, let's see where that takes us. Sometimes it takes a team of people. Those people have become inspirations not only to this troop, but to 2 major blockbuster movies. I know the joke is one of them dies in the movie, but we won't say which one. But in all seriousness, just to go over, in 2021 it would have been our 75th anniversary, and we would have done something, but COVID got in the way, and we didn't want to do all this planning just to have COVID take that outside or scare people away, so we pushed it off. We've had 4 activities this year to try to have as many alumni come back and visit it as much as possible. We had an alumni barbecue May 13th up here at camp, so we had a variety of people come, or right here at HGA. We had a family fun day at the end of July up at Hawk Mountain, so that way people could go and visit camp. That was a fantastic day as well. The weather cooperated, and it was a great day to be up at camp. We are here for the anniversary banquet, which is the crown jewel of the year. And lastly, if you want to mark your calendars, the troop always goes to the Daniel Boone Homestead the weekend before Thanksgiving. The alumni are all invited on Saturday, November 18th to visit. The Thanksgiving campout has always been the unofficial alumni return day, meaning typically some guys will go off to college, they come home. We are always at Daniel Boone. And when I say always, there's definitely some people in this room that are like, yeah, no, there were some years we didn't. We currently always go to Daniel Boone Homestead and have Thanksgiving campout. So it would be fantastic if as many of you could come to that as well, and even reach out to some other guys from your eras and maybe meet up that day. It is a great time. As many of us know, the Thanksgiving campout tends to be, I don't want to call it a do-nothing campout, but it's a much more relaxing campout. They play football, they eat really well, there's fire. I don't really know what else I need to say. But those are our keys to our 75th anniversary celebration. And I want to take a moment to reflect on those that are no longer with us. You know, over 75 years, you know, that is a long time, and there are a lot of people that have passed away. I do just want to take a moment to name 3 individuals that are more current to the troop that have passed away in the last 20 years. And while I mean no disrespect if I don't name their names, you'll understand why I'm naming these 3 folks in particular. The first one is Stanley Gazowski. He's a Troop 161 Eagle Scout, and he passed away in his early 20s. I always forget if he was 21 or 22, but he passed away of brain disease. Stanley was one of the guys that I was very fortunate enough to be a youth with him, and Stanley always lit up the room everywhere he went. He was a goofball, and always had a smile on his face, and he is just somebody I want to make sure we brought up tonight. The next one is James Toomey, another Troop 161 alum and a U.S. Marine Corps soldier who passed away at age 28 in California a few years ago. And then lastly, Jason Dunlap, Troop 161 alum, but also an assistant Scoutmaster for many, many years, and father of 3 Troop 161 alumni themselves. Jason just passed away of cancer just a couple of years ago, so he is much more familiar to many of us, and he absolutely would have been here today and look forward to it. We are very lucky to have 2 of his sons here today, with Nick Dunlap and Christian Dunlap. And we're definitely always thinking of Jason whenever we plan. So I want to just take a moment to name those 3 as they were either incredibly young and recent or currently involved with the troop. So I just want us to take a moment and reflect on all those who are no longer with us. And then there were a lot of people who wanted to be here but couldn't. So believe it or not, approximately 30 alumni, and they're more recent alumni, wanted to attend but had other commitments. In fact, they were like, Anthony, can you go ahead and organize this again? I said no. We'll do barbecues or something like that in the future, but something of this magnitude, we will wait for another significant age number. But we do have alumni scattered across the country, including Maryland, New Jersey, New York, Washington, D.C., North Carolina, Florida, Wisconsin, California, and believe it or not, internationally, in Yap, Micronesia. So that would actually be my younger brother, Michael Wiencek, who actually was able to put together a quick video that we'll transition to now, if it plays, if everything works.
Greetings from Yap Troop 161. I'm sorry I can't be there with you to celebrate the anniversary, I currently live in Yap, Micronesia, an island in the western Pacific Ocean, and I'm the principal at Yap Catholic High School and have been here for the past 11 years. It was great to see many of our current troop members and some of our alumni this summer at Hawk Mountain. And I just wanted to pass along my greetings and best wishes and congratulations on making it for so many years and for many more years to come. I'm very appreciative to Troop 161 as well as the Boy Scouts for everything it's done for me. Some of my greatest memories come from just the many campouts, especially our time up at Camp Mincy where I worked on camp staff and as program director for many years. And I'm looking forward to seeing and hearing all about how Troop 161 continues to help and shape young men as well as potentially young women in the future. Celebrate, tell Mr. Lerch that he's not that old yet, and hopefully see everybody soon.
Michael Camilli. Michael is a Troop 161 Eagle Scout and is on the polar opposite side of the world. So over 9,000 miles away, 36 hours of travel time if he has to come back. No, I got a voice right now. I'm in the zone, otherwise I'm yelling into the microphone. But he wanted to be here. He was able to actually come up and attend the Hawk Mountain Family Fun Day. So for anyone that was able to attend that. So up next, I do just want to take a moment to introduce Father Michael Camilli. He is here today as a Troop 161 alum, as most of you are. But wait, there's more. He is one of the original charter members in 1946. Is that correct? 1946, on the original restart. So we have, he is here with us today. Now, he is with us for a very short amount of time. So if it's okay with you, Father Camilli, would you be able to potentially say the blessing for the meal now, so that way you can leave when you need to leave? Is that acceptable? Yes. You want the microphone?
Yeah. Who would have thought of something like this? We started 1945 because we had to get this together. Just, you don't want like 8 pages of it. First, every one of those, I knew it was all 3 or 5. We spent a lot of time with it. We started the troop there, and at that time, we thought Lerch was our master. And of course, at that time, Father Mackenzie was our assistant. He was the first at the beginning of the parish. And one thing I thought, so you'll remember, we had 3 priests came out of there. And you know, why we're not listed in the Eagle Scouts? Because at that time, Father Sherry Paul and I went to the seminary together. And then we were both he died since. And also, Father Carl Hexter went to the seminary. And when you go to the seminary, you can't come back to the Scouts anymore because you have your seminary humanity, you have to study for the priesthood. But we had 3 good priests, and we had them because of our Scouts. Bill Webb was really a saving man. He really showed us not only our true fidelity and family, but he showed us the church. He always had prayer. He always was a good witness in the church. And at that time, we started going to Mass and meeting together as Scouts. And we used to make the church smells and smoke. But we were very much appreciated by the pastor. Father Lerch was our founding pastor. He, at that time, the rectory was no rectory there. He lived where the school was, no school. And so he was always near us, so we meet downstairs in the basement. But it was a beautiful sculpture because it was very, very believing, a lot of faith. And the prayers that we said, we would do like 3 priests out of that bunch. And I very appreciate for these guys. And I talked to one the other day and he said, aren't you going? I said, no, I haven't done a commitment. I said, you ought to go Paul Jabrisco. Mr. Jabrisco was alive. He did a lot for us, and Paul's still alive. The last time we talked, we decided who was going to put up his freedom, because we could get age. But we had a wonderful trip, and we still got very much in my heart. I married 3 of them before them, because they asked me to do so, because they knew I was a priest. And now, I guess I'm the only one that's a priest, and I couldn't be a brother of those guys. So anyhow, I think the Scouts went good for me, because the Scouts really planted the seed of occupation. We always had to preach and well, and when we came back as young men, we also used to go to Scouts and say next to them. And we went, I don't know, we go out there and those things, and we put a place in this room. And then we used to cook and then we run some stoves. Anyhow, glad to be here. Thank you for the invitation. And now I'll say a prayer of blessing. Oh, good and gracious God, our prayers and wills are not always those of asking. Sometimes we do stop to give you thanks for the beautiful things that touch us in our lives. First of all, for our families, for our faith, for our country. And we know that we are a part of all of them, and especially because of our being Scouts. We ask you to help us grow in our knowledge of our faith and of our love for each other, and most of all, our desire to serve our country. We are about to eat the meal together prepared for our happiness and for our sustenance. This wonderful meal which reminds us of the meal that you give right to us in the Holy House. So bless us, O Lord, and these thy gifts, the ways that we are about to receive from thy mouth, through Christ our Lord. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you so much, Father Camilli. Round of applause. All right. Thank you so much. So moving on to the next phase of our program, I want to take a moment to introduce a man who needs a very limited introduction. I'd like to... Laughing already, I didn't even start the joke yet. I'm just going to stop. This man has been an assistant scoutmaster and a committee member for a long time. He is an Eagle Scout himself. He and I both have younger brothers named Michael who like to steal attention. And I would like to introduce at this moment in time Mr. Kevin Lerch for the presentation of the Eagle Scouts of Recognition.
So to give a little bit of background, I have had the honor, about since the time I first came into the troop as an assistant scoutmaster, to present the Eagle Charge to the young men in this troop who earn the rank of Eagle. And we normally do the Eagle Charge before we actually present the Eagle Award, as a kind of reminder to these young men that once an Eagle, always an Eagle. And in looking around the room, I know that I don't really have to drill that point down any more than that. I would like to I'm going to call the names of all the young men who are part of this troop who earned the rank of Eagle. If I call your name, gentlemen, I'd like you to come up front. The first 5 names that I call, please have a seat. As I call the rest of you up, please fill in around them, because we're going to take a quick opportunity to get a couple of photos. It'll be the best opportunity we have to get you all together before the room just falls apart. The first Eagle Scout from Troop 161 is John Didyoung. And I need to get a little bit of background for John. John comes from a scouting family, and he himself joined this troop in 1948. As you'll see, John earned his Eagle Scout in 1953, 5 years after he joined the troop. John later became the Scoutmaster of this troop, and it was really the prototype for all the Scoutmasters who came after him. If you look at John's uniform, you'll see a lot of knots, a lot of awards. You'll see a lot of Eagle Scout mentor pins. You'll see that he has a unit commissioner patch on. John gave back to his community, gave back to his troop, and continued to be part of scouting long after he was a youth in the troop itself. I was very fortunate that John was still quite active with this troop when I was a member, when I first became a member. And John would come up to summer camps, and he would help us conduct boards of review on Friday afternoons. And I must tell you that as good a Scoutmaster as Mr. Lerch is, I have never seen a man connect with the boys in his troop the way that John did. John could sit down and talk to a boy, and for those of you who are part of the committee and have conducted boards of review, you know that sometimes you're asking a question, it is like pulling teeth, because the boy is just yes, no, But John had a way to ask a question at a board review to get the boy really open up and talk about his experience as a scout. And I was very fortunate to be able to learn from John and to help carry on that tradition. So John, at this time we'd like to have you say just a couple of words. Sure. Yeah.
A little short. I want a lot of answers over you. I want you all to know, this might be the first time we've ever seen a bald eagle. It's been an honor to be here, and it's so wonderful to see all my old scouts, the Scoutmasters that took over before. It's just wonderful to see that Troop 161 is still going strong as it was before, and I was part of that. And thank you all so very much. It's wonderful seeing you all. That's the father over there. I was in when he was in yet. We see Bill took us to the air show over at the Reading Airport. I still have some pictures of it. And we did some good things at the Bill died, but Bill always liked to walk. He was a big, tall man. And you might see a picture of me with Bill a few years ago, and he was still tall, and I'm still small. So I want to say thank you to all of you for having me here, and I did want to come and I want to thank my wife, because Phyllis, she's been my wife for 64 years. I'm still the same husband. I was not hiking with the troop or camping with the troop. She was at home with 3 little boys. So I thank her. She did a lot of it. She also became a co-leader and worked with the Cub Scouts and had a Cub tent. So she was very active with me. Thank God for that. So I thank her, and I'll never forget it. Thank you so very much.
There was a time I physically looked up to him.
I do want to point out that John and his wife did come up from Florida to be with us. So John, and thank you so very, very much. Moving on to 1964, we have Dominic Vecchio and David Campbell. 1970, Alan Izzy. 1977, Gerald Miller and Chris Young. 1981, John Sosi. And let me pause here for a minute for those of you who knew John. John also is no longer with us, and I know that he left an indelible mark on this troop. 1982, Michael Camilli. 1987, Alan Porter. 1988, Rob Porter. 1991, Jason Horowitz. 1992, Henry Zittrick, Jeremy Knoll. 1993, Charles McNichols and Nick Warshaw and Tim McNichol. 1995, Josh Cerulli. 1996, Justin Piper and Sean McCray. 1998, Joe Booker. 2000, Charles Zittrick. 2002, Chip Schwartz. 2003, Anthony Wiencek. And Anthony, I want to take a moment to thank you for putting this all together. It's been an awful lot of work.
I'm just glad to be in the second row.
Also from Liliana, and Michael Krajewski. 2004, Zachary Ninehammer, Christopher Klein, and Brian Anderson. 2005, Kyle Udrad, and Stanley Gazowski. 2006, Ryan Spenka, and John Montgomery. 2007, Samuel Bansner, Daniel Klein, and Michael Prechtl. 2008, Adam Broad, Michael Wiencek, and Jay Santo Domingo. 2009, J. Alex Bean, Mark Hepton, Michael Zabritsky, and Dylan Prechtl. 2010, George Stein, Matthew Krajewski, Austin Nagara, and Andrew Bean. From 2011, Stephen Kosofsky and Vincent Alive. 2012, Michael Billy York, Matthew Malerkey, and Thomas Reaver. 2013, Alexander Smith. 2014, William Ripper, and William I will always call you Billy. And Samuel Moore. 2015, Daniel Johnson, Jonathan York, Skylar Radcliffe, and Frankie Baldessare. 2016, Nico Silvies. 2017, Ryan Dunlap. 2019, Nathan Wilson. My apologies. From 2021, Christian Dunlap, Chris Cockrell. And from 2022, William McCulloch, Joe DiMaglio, and Stephen Askey. Gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, scouts, scouters, the Eagles of Troop 161. Pictures, I'm gonna give a little information here, if I may. Statistically, they used to say that only 1 in 100 scouts earned the rank of Eagle. 1 in 100. I'm sure today that number is higher. I don't know what the current stat is. But I'd like to kind of put that in perspective, that Troop 161, in its 75 years, plus, has had 66 Eagle Scouts, 66 of all of the young men who have gone through this troop. And of those 66, 58 of them earned their Eagle rank under the Scoutmastership of Mr. Mike Lerch. And that's a testament to all the Scoutmasters. That's a true testament to all the Scoutmasters who were part of 161, and all the assistants, and all the committee members, and all the parents who backed these young men as they were earning their rank of Eagle. Now, I want all the youth of the troop, the current youth, please stand. I want you guys to take a look up here. The gentlemen in front of you are both your history and your future. So pause on that for just a moment. Just let that sink in a minute. They are your history. So for some of you, when you come into Scouts, it is like this brand new organization. And it's new to you. And when we say that this troop has been around for 75 years, let that put it into perspective what that really means. 75 years, this is a real thing. These are real people who earn the rank of Eagle. And I hope each and every one of you will earn the rank of Eagle. They are also your future. Because 25 years from now, when the troop celebrates its 100th anniversary, I hope to see all of you up here. You are following in their footsteps. You are going to places that they have been. One of the neat things about this troop is that we do the same types of campouts that these gentlemen did. They took 50-mile hikes. They were on the Appalachian Trail. They've been going to the Didyoung Boone Homestead for Thanksgiving since the 1960s, I believe, if not before. The Didyoung Boone Homestead for Thanksgiving since at least the 1960s, 1970s. You guys get a chance to do that. They have been to Gettysburg and Antietam. They have been on 50-mile hikes along the Scieno Canal. They have been to the USS Yorktown, in New Jersey, and the Massachusetts. They have hiked on Mount Penn, and some of them started at Mr. Lerch's house, and a lot of them have fumbled over the rotary phone, just like you guys do. All right, you guys can sit down. To the Eagle Scouts, these gentlemen are your legacy. You have gone before, and they are following in your footsteps. And they recognize the great work that you do as Eagle Scouts and continue to do as Eagle Scouts. The difference that you make in this troop, the difference that you make in your community, the family members that you have become, and all that you do back. To those of you who are actively involved in the alumni group, I thank you. And for those of you who are interested, Anthony has all the information that you need.
You'll get an email.
At this time, I ask all Eagle Scouts present to please rise. If able. And I knew this John would. Gentlemen, I'd like you to come to attention and please make the scout sign and repeat after me as we retake our Eagle charge. I state your name. Affirm my allegiance. To the three promises of the Scout Oath. I thoughtfully recognize. And take upon myself. The obligations and responsibilities. Of an Eagle Scout. On my honor, I will do my best. To make my training an example. And my status and my influence. Count strongly for better scouting. And for better citizenship. In my troop. In my community. And in my contacts with other people. To this I pledge my sacred honor. Ready? 2. Gentlemen, you may be seated. Gentlemen, thank you very much for being here with us today.
Scoutmaster and Troop 161 Eagle Scout, Mr. Jerry Miller. I spoke slowly.
All right. Okay. Hello, everybody. Nice to see you again. Shortly. All right. Okay. 2 things that I'm entrusted with as far as business code troop is concerned. Number 1, everybody who is still registered, and I think that's the way I'm to understand it correctly, Mr. Lerch, who is still an active registered member of Scouting, is going to receive the 75th anniversary strip for your above your unit number. If you want to see what it looks like up close, we had at least one up here that you can take a look at. Mr. Lerch has his sum above his number, but a pretty cool little addition. So you young guys, us adults that are still active, we get to show off proudly that we're in business for 75 years. Pretty cool, right? Okay, that's the first thing. Secondly, some more cool bling, all right, for everybody. For those who are still registered in the troop, correct? Okay, we have a special goodie for you. We have our new 75th anniversary commemorative neckerchiefs to replace our other anniversary neckerchiefs that we're wearing. They look pretty cool. They look big. So, all right, I'm going to start with the youth. We're going to go through this. Thank you, Mr. Lerch, for assisting me in handing out the neckerchiefs. Okay, all right. Scouts. Is Vincent here? Vincent Baldassare? No. Gavin Camilli? No. Okay, Alex Davis, I didn't see him. Francisco Dembowski. Carlos Flood. Elijah Fultz, I know he's here. All right, while he's coming up, Eddie Gensimer. Diego Gonzalez. Logan Haggard. Evan Hausman. Christian Hendricks. Alexander Hernandez. Cesar Hernandez. Elijah Kopp. Colin Cronin. Evan Cronin. Gabe Martin, I know he's here, I saw him. Ben McCuley. Alex Molina. Ethan Knoll. Marcus Rundle. Frankie Savatucci. Giancarlo Savatucci. Michael Sauer. Evan Tamanglo. Cody Toplock. Nick Wenzel. Owen Wenzel. Now the adults. Adrian Baldazar. Chuck Broad. Christian Dunlap. Nick Dunlap. Father Hoffa. Chris Cockle. Cassie Kozlowski. Jim Cronin. Fran Katalski. Mr. Kevin Lerch. Keith Martin. Stephen McCuley. J.J. Miller. Sam Mawarki. Ryan Knoll. Ryan Spiga. Anthony Wiencek. Tony Wiencek. Christopher Zenya. Joe Zenya. Mr. Mike Lerch.
And Mr. Jerry Miller.
All right, I'd like to stop you right there, Michael. Turn around, come back. Good boy. At this point in time, I need the Scoutmaster, Mr. Michael Lerch, and the committee chairman, Mr. Tony Wiencek, to come up to present the veterans awards.
Okay, veterans pins. It's basically a pin for currently registered leaders, and it's a service type pin. All you have to do is show up for a few years. So our current leaders, we went and surveyed them, and I'm going to call them up and tell you basically how many years. Now the pins only come in groups of 5, so I'm going to read off how many years they've been with the troop, and also what their pin is actually for. So, and if you're not an officially registered leader, you can't get it. So, first we have Sam Mawarki, who's been with us 18 years. He's not here today. Mr. Ryan Knoll has been a scout or a leader for 17 years, and he gets a 15-year pin. Chuck Blythe has been registered with the troop for 26 years. He gets a 25 year pin. This is Fran Prechtl. She's been with us for 27 years and gets a 25 year pin. Mr. Ryan Spinka has been with us for 26 years and gets a 25 year pin. Anthony Wiencek has been involved in scouting for 27 years, gets a 25-year-old pin. He's my son! That's like a lot of years. Then we get to Mr. Jerry Miller. He's been with scouting for 38 years, and he's a 35-year-old pin. Mr. Joe Zinga has been 37 years and gets a 35-year-old pin. Now we're getting into the really old guys. Mr. Kevin Lerch, 43 years and gets a 40-year pin. Myself, 42 years and I get a 40-year pin. Then the old man of the mountain, Mr. Mike Lerch, 48 years of scouting. He gets a 45-year pin. And then there's another one. I saved this one just because we don't always see people, but in order for a scout troop to survive for 75 years, a lot of things have to go right. And there's always a lot of obstacles. Like, you notice one of the reasons we didn't get credit for 1936 to 1940, whatever it was, 6, was because World War II, we couldn't get leaders. Well, another thing that happened were a lot of scout troops in the area folded was the COVID pandemic. The reason we were able to survive that was a lot of different reasons. One, we have school administration that really backs us up. We have the head of school, Mrs. Prechtl here today. Another person we had is we heard a lot about Thanksgiving camp out. Well, we always do the Thanksgiving camp out. Obviously, during COVID, you can't pile a bunch of kids into a cabin. We couldn't do that. Well, Mrs. Adrian Bottles there basically had some connections, and we were able to camp in November up at Jim Moore Park, and we basically had one kid per tent. We were able to camp. It was November, it was a little cold, but we had a great time up there. We got the support of the parish. Father Susan drove out and had mass for us. That's one of the other traditions we have at Thanksgiving camp out. We always have a big dinner, and turkey and everything, and then usually we get a priest to come out and say mass for us. So we were able to keep the tradition going. One of the other things the school did for us is we actually had a court of honor in December with a campfire in the parking lot. Because, again, we couldn't meet inside. But because they supported us, we were able to keep going and keep the boys interested through that whole time. So I'd like to thank them. Mrs. Bouncer, you can come up. You have 8.5 years time with the troop, and you get your 5-year pin. She actually has more time than that, but she wasn't a registered leader for a while. It took us a while to talk her into actually registering instead of just doing all of our fundraising. She's done a wonderful job. So thank you.
Thank you all of you.
Also, I'd like to bring up some of our council support. Mr. Ryan Simon, will you please come forward?
Ryan is our troop commissioner. He is the cruising district exec. And he and I would like to recognize, we'd like to make a recognition.
Mr. Lerch, I'm going to shout loud enough. I won't try to be like Tony and Anthony and shout into the mic super loud. But I'm here today on behalf of Jim Milham, who was Uptown Council's former Scout executive, so my old boss. Here today to present a special award, not only for the troop but for the council as well, which is the Scout Alumni Service Commemoration. The BSA Alumni Association has developed a commemoration medallion to celebrate years of service provided by Scouting alumni. This recognition represents and celebrates good deeds and contributions of the recipients of the youth to the youth. The definition of service is interpreted council by council. The Alumni Award itself is designed to encourage Scouting alumni to actively promote alumni activities in their council. That focuses on accomplishment in the areas of alumni service, and development with emphasis on memories, marketing, mentoring, membership, manpower, and money, so a lot of ends. The award is a recognition program to encourage participation in working in council, district, and unit alumni relation programs, including NISA, National Youth Scout Association, activities. Areas of work include alumni identification and promotion, alumni engagement, personal participation, and education. Now, so you can earn this award, it is presented to Scouting alumni to promote continued engagement with the Boy Scouts of America at the council, district, and unit level. How to get the award, registered adult scouters must submit a completed application for approval by the local council alumni committee and approved by the Scout executive. The approved applications are then forwarded to the National Alumni Relations Committee. Those approved will be sent a certificate that can be used to purchase a square knot or lapel pin from the Scout shop. Today, I am very proud to present the very first BSA Alumni Award in the Hoffa Council with Anthony Wiencek. And going back to all those areas we talked about, such as memories, marketing, mentoring, Anthony had to complete a certain amount of criteria at each of those emphasis points in order to be eligible for the award, such things as assistant planning, organizing, and the implementation of an alumni activity with your Scouting alumni and friends committee or alumni fan group, which I understand the troop has had a fair few this year. These activity photographs promote Scouting alumni and friends or alumni affinity group. Assist 3 alumni in updating their profile, including alumni affinity memberships when applicable. Anthony has also assisted 2 or more alumni to register online to become members of an alumni affinity group. Has arranged for at least 2 unregistered alumni to attend a Scout activity and encourage at least 2 registered alumni to make a meaningful financial donation to Scouting over beyond regular dues and contributions for the betterment of Scouting. So, great honor on behalf of the Boy Scouts of America and Hoffa Council, it is an honor to present Anthony the first alumni award in the council.
Continue with the troop, either officially or unofficially. And Anthony has gone way above and beyond helping out the troop and doing things like this, getting our alumni together and
To me personally, it's just a huge thing. So I went through my box of stuff, and I would like to give you, Anthony, I thought it was kind of appropriate. When the Kittatinny Lodge had its 75th anniversary, I ordered a chenille. So this is the 75th anniversary of the Kittatinny Lodge patch. Rare, very rare. And I would like to present this 75-year celebratory item to you at our 75th year celebration.
It's a blessing and a curse because as the MC, I'm watching the clock, right? And I'm like, okay, I get dinner going in this many minutes. But there are a couple of things I want to point out regarding the alumni stuff. Believe it or not, I didn't seek out the award at first. At first, it was just about coming together and hanging out with old guys. You know, we turn 18, we go off to college or wherever we go, and it was just always cool to get together and see people. So for about 10 years at the Thanksgiving camp out, we would just say, oh, how cool would it be to actually get together and do something? Well, another year would go by and nothing would happen. Lather, rinse, repeat. So after 10 years, COVID finally hit, I needed something to do, and so I started reaching out to people. And honestly, 80% of the award was happening naturally, just from reaching out to guys, swapping stories, and having a great time. But there is one thing in particular, or two things in particular, because this has been going on for a while. Back when I was working my Wood Badge ticket, one of my ticket items was to actually create the 161 Troop Facebook page. And the thought process was simple. We're all moving on with our lives. How cool would it be to continue to connect and kind of relive some stories and some memories with pictures and videos that are posted, or just connect with people from across the country, which is how most of you were found, by the way, was via Facebook. And so in 2013, I created the True Facebook page. And if you have a Facebook account, feel free to take out your phone right now. There is a tent on every table, like we thought this through. There's a tent on every table with a QR code. So if you are not following the Troop 161 Facebook page, feel free to go on there and just search Troop 161-Hyde Park. Or you can use the QR code and follow it. And that is how a lot of people have gotten involved. And there's two other things I want to point out. It's not two additional, it's two things in general. Because of the alumni stuff reaching out, I want to take a moment to recognize a couple of people who have actually made financial donations without asking. Just because of the emails that went out, one of them was to Jason Rockley. Jason Rockley, for those of you that don't know, is my actual age. We were in Cub Scouts together, Boy Scouts together, and he currently lives in California, has a house in LA, and works for a tech company. He got an email, you know, just like all of you did, and he actually responded to said email, unlike most of you. Get my digs in when I can. People were asking, is this going to be a roast, or is this going to be a banquet? It's going to be a combination of both. And Jason made a $1,000 donation on a whim, based on the company that he worked for was doing a matching day. So literally same day, I'm trying to figure out how can we make a matching donation. So the troop, through Hawk Mountain Council, actually received a $2,000 donation just a couple of years ago, thanks to his generosity. And like I said, he's in California. He hasn't been around in a long time. And the influence that he had on others and that others had on him was very, very impactful. And the other part I want to mention is part of the award that Ryan named, and I didn't expect you to name the requirements, Ryan, but one of them is to have people join an alumni group. And there's very few that are organized at the national level. But one of them is the NISA organization, the National Eagle Scout Association. And it costs money to join. And I'll be blunt about it. It doesn't make sense for anyone over the age of 23 to join that group unless you're going to be in scouting for a long time. And it was literally the last requirement. I did everything other than this, and I was like, I don't really want to ask guys for money. Well, I talked about eras, and when I was 17, there were three gentlemen. Dylan Ratka, who's a U.S. Air Force captain, wanted to be here today, but was unable to. He will be here at the Thanksgiving camp out, so for all of those that are interested, Dylan Ratka will be here. Mark Heckman, who is in Pittsburgh, also wanted to be here but could not make it. And the gentleman who is here is Jay San Domingo. I sent text to all three of those guys, just saying, hey guys, here's what's up. You know, this is what I need. Would you be willing to help me? They didn't respond. because what they did was they sent me print screens that they joined the organization and spent money to join MISA just to help me on a simple text ask. And that meant more to me than anything else, because here's guys that, we have a 6-7 year age gap, and here they were coming through at their age 29 and 30 year, just like that. And that was honestly the most impactful thing that occurred with this award, other than bringing in all of you, of course, because getting together with old people is always a great time, sharing stories, swapping stories. I say old, keep in mind I'm talking to people like John Didyoung, who's 87. No offense, John, you are old. We talked about it on the phone. It was a great conversation. And it was just a great time. So I want to thank you guys for one, taking my calls, replying to emails, and just swapping stories, because that's really what it's all about, is reliving a little bit of our youth that we can never get back, and sharing how stupid we were when we were teenagers and some of the things that we would definitely tear muscles if we did today. So it's always great reliving them. So thank you for that. So at this point in time, I am actually transitioning into the next aspect, which is our key 3 recognition. So you need 3 things to happen for a troop in order to exist. One of them is you need a chartered organization to sponsor the troop. Now, as we've touched on, Holy Guardian Angels has been sponsoring and chartering the troop for over 75 years. Now, while that sounds simple and we take it for granted, there are organizations closing every year because they don't want to charter a scout troop. Holy Guardian Angels, whether it is head of school Kelly Prechtl or Pastor Father Hoffa and all of those that came before them, have vividly supported Holy Guardian Angels throughout this entire process. So we have a small token of appreciation where I would like head of school Kelly Prechtl to please come up, as we would like to present Holy Guardian Angels with a small token of our appreciation. We have a nice little handmade, I won't tell you by who because he told me not to tell. Handmade for Holy Guardian Angels, whether it's displayed on a self-made stand or on a wall. And because Father Hoffa is not here, we're giving it to Kelly. So that's how we're going to roll. But anyone that wants to take a picture or please thank Holy Guardian Angels, please let's go ahead and give them a round of applause. And you have a place to meet, and by the way, they have to do training, so it's not even like they just sign a piece of paper, they actually have to do stuff. You need a committee chairman. That committee chairman, nothing happens without that. They have to oversee the programming, make sure everything is legal and appropriate, and the troop has been blessed to have very few committee chairmen, meaning they hold that role for a very long time. And our current committee chairman I've known him my whole life. I have my hard to say and spell last name thanks to him. But at this point in time, Mr. Tony Wiencek, can you please come up? Your steady leadership and consistent leadership has certainly led to the success of Troop 161. As Kevin Lerch pointed out, so many of the Eagle Scouts have occurred within the last 30 years. The troops, just enrollment and participation has been huge for the last 30 years. And just looking around the room, all of you came back. So clearly it has meant something. And we can't have it happen without a charter organization, and we can't have it happen without a committee chairman. So at this point in time, I'd like to present Tony Wiencek, committee chairman of Troop 161, another wooden stand. All right, and I did say key 3. So we have to recognize the third person of the key 3, which is the Scoutmaster, which, no offense to Kelly and Tony, but for many of us, he tends to be our favorite. At this point in time, nothing else happens without the Scoutmaster to form the key 3. So we would like Mr. Mike Lerch, who, as we've already learned, has spent hundreds and thousands of years being an influential member in the scouting process and our fearless leader of Troop 161 since 1986. I know this. Since 1986, he has been the Scoutmaster of Troop 161. So without further ado, thank you, Mr. Michael Lerch, for all of your years of dedication. cook dinner tonight. So at this point in time, we would like to call out Chef Wayne for a small token of our appreciation. We're running behind schedule, therefore our timing is off, so we're snagging him. So at this point in time, Chef Wayne, who has cooked us a delicious, phenomenal meal that I am delaying you from, I would like you to come up here and join our P3 with a small token of appreciation. But we have a wooden spoon meant for cooking. In different eras, you use the wooden spoon for different things, okay? It's 2023, we don't use it anymore. But Chef Wayne, thank you so much. That's just a small token of our appreciation. Thank you. Alright, we got the photo. So at this point in time, I'd like to have Mr. Mike Lerch come up for a series of thank yous, as we are very much nearing the end of the program. You don't have anything?
All right, this is just a verbal thank you. I don't have gifts for everybody. But there are many current helpers in the troop, and I will try to make this very fast. Our fundraising coordinator, Ms. Adrienne Baldessere. Adrienne, just give a wave. She has gone above and beyond in helping us stay financially sound with our various fundraisers, the biggest of which is our wreath and candle sale that we do at Christmas time. Mr. Chuck Broad, who is one of our committee members who often helps us out with our paperwork and gave me the plans to make this thing. And he is the one who presented the troop with this logo. So thank you, Mr. Broad. There's a lot of current people. I would like to reach back in time though, and all former Scoutmasters, just give a wave. If you were a Scoutmaster of this troop, just give a wave so we can say thank you for I would like to thank all of our current committee members, our past committee members. If you were on the committee or are on the committee, give a wave. Thank you for helping the troop, mostly behind the scenes. Thank you. If you were an assistant Scoutmaster or are an assistant Scoutmaster, give a wave. These are the front lines. And mostly, I do spend a lot of time doing scouting, and I would not be able to do that without the love and support of my wife. So, I love you, my dear.
Like said, Mrs. Lerch made her homemade favorite brownies of everybody. So then to go ahead and continue to move down the process here, believe it or not, the troop actually has an old cheer. So what I'm going to ask is, of those individuals that made that cheer, let's do it during dinner, if that's okay. So previous Scoutmaster, Mr. Ken Keller, and a few other individuals actually have a cheer. We're going to do it during dinner, is what we'll call that audible right here. And so just from the reaching out of you guys as alumni, how can you help? It's pretty simple, in all honesty. We're not asking much. You don't need to register. You don't need to pay dues. You just have to, if you have a skill that you have mastered in your professional life and you want to come back and teach the troop, let us know. That's the one part. That was one. All right. Attend alumni gatherings. I was like, this wasn't what I was talking about. I thought we were the same part. Attend the gatherings. Get together. Relive some old memories. Assist with the troop when called upon. So the troop attended a great event this year at the USS Massachusetts. Well, that required filling a bus with 55 people. And when the troop doesn't necessarily have 55 people, you reach out to those that can potentially come. So we actually had a bunch of alumni attend the USS Massachusetts. A few years ago, or just last year, time flies when you're having fun. Just last year, the troop did a 50-miler along the C&O Canal. Troop 161 Eagle Scout and alum Chuck Zitcher, who could not be here today, wanted to be here today, had conflicts, actually scouted out part of the trail. He was very helpful with organizing a lot of things and knew about the road constructions and things going on. And
Gentlemen like Keith Rockley and Sam Morarky, Troop 161 alum, went down and assisted. So there's always a role. We're not asking for an hour a week like they ask in Boy Scouts. But if you're just around and you want to help, reach out. Let's do it. Now, the fun part here is, like I said, the award. The hardest part's always asking for money. Transition time. So, other ways we can help. All right? I'm not going to just boldly ask you for funds. But scouting has become very expensive. All right? Just to register with the troop, it costs $150 per kid. 5 years ago, it was like $80. Okay? It was very affordable. A handbook, a troop handbook, costs about $20 now. That was $8 back in my day in 1996, just in case anyone wants to know that. It is patches. Patches are outrageously expensive. In fact, the troop, just for what they earned this past year at summer camp, so in 1 week, the troop had to spend $300 on patches. That's a lot. So, while we're not directly seeking funds, because the troop will fundraise, perhaps when you're doing your annual giving, or just come across that extra $20 somewhere, perhaps just consider donating it to the troop. All right? We're not asking for much, but if you have that ability, there is no downside to assisting an organization that helped you grow into the young or old man that you currently are. So just keep that in mind. And there's a lot of ways you can make donations. You can give to a specific task. So for example, if the troop needs new tents and you want to donate to that, donate to that. You want to buy handbooks, do that. Patches, you name it. The alumni camp out or Thanksgiving camp out, it costs $250 to reserve the cabin. Perhaps, maybe as alumni, we can sponsor that. So there are opportunities for us to assist the troop wherever we may live in this country. It is just always great to give a little bit back. So whether it's $1 or $5,000, and we're going to do $5,000? I gotta try. It is always worth the ask. So with that, at this point in time, I would like to call up the Scoutmaster again, Mr. Mike Lerch, for his Scoutmaster minute.
Okay, just real fast, very quickly. There's a painting up on the stage. That painting was painted by Mr. John Didyoung's father, way back. It was painted for Mr. Ed Deerolf, who was in the troop at that time. So that painting there goes way back, painted by a Troop 161 member. That is just amazing. Anthony had touched on COVID, and during COVID, many troops folded. Scouts just couldn't handle not meeting in person. Our troop, if you look at the grid that's in the gym, you'll see that our numbers stayed pretty steady during COVID. And that's a testament to the whole troop, to the leaders, to the committee, to the scouts, that this troop is that important that we stayed together and survived and thrived during COVID. And I just want to say that my personal view of scouting, and I tell this to scouts every now and then, is that scouting is not just an organization for boys. Scouting is a way of life. Mr. Senior Drill Leader, the podium is yours.
For our closing, we ask all scouts, past and present, to fall in to join us in the closing. Upon the command fall in, current scouts fall in on Frankie and everyone else fall in beside them. Fall in.
When we close our meeting, before we have the senior drill leader do formal closing, I give a Scoutmaster minute. I do not hold myself to that time frame, but I will try to tonight. This is a message, hopefully the scouts take home with them and think about on their way home and when they're at home and, well, forever. A grandfather and his grandson were walking down the street in New York City, Times Square. They were walking down the street just having a conversation. There's traffic going on. There's foot traffic, there's auto traffic. on speakers. And as they were walking and talking, the grandfather said, "Listen, I hear a cricket." And the grandson said, "A cricket? How do you hear that?" And the grandfather said, "Just listen, listen." And he walked with his grandson over to this cement barrel that had plants in it. And lo and behold, there was a cricket in that planter. And the grandson again said, "How did you hear that?" And the grandfather said, "It's all a matter of where your focus is." "Observe," said the grandfather. And he reached in his pocket and pulled out some random coins and nonchalantly tossed them onto the ground. And people within a 20-foot radius, their ears perked up and they looked for the money. And the grandfather said, "It's all in where your focus is. Are you focusing on the material things? Are you focusing on the money? Or are you focusing on good things? Is your focus on being calm, being successful, being with nature?" So as you go through life, gentlemen, think about where your focus is, where it should be, where you want it to be, and listen for those crickets. Mr. Senior Patrol Leader, the troop is yours.
Scout attention. Scout sign. Please join me in the Scout law.